Today's episode of Looping Through Life is brought to you by the band Fictional Reality. Listen now on Spotify. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Looping Through Life, where yet another coaster dive for you guys. Going to dive right on in. Going to head back to the Midwest this time to Sandusky, Ohio, to hit up Millennium Force, the world's first ever giga coaster, debuted here back in 2000, 93 miles an hour, 300 feet tall, and honestly, just staring down that lift hill makes you kind of want to piss yourself.
Ryan, you piss yourself in line. Let's not blame the coaster. You looked at that lift hill like it was your ex-wife's lawyer coming down the midway.
Well, at least Millennium Force never took half my paycheck and the dog.
True, but it did blow harder than your rebound in Tampa. Let's ride this steel monster that's been thrilling guests and separating weak bladders from strong wills since the year 2000.
Millennium Force. Just the name sparks nostalgia, awe, and maybe a little fear in the hearts of coaster fans. Located at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, Millennium Force wasn't just another roller coaster. It was a milestone, a literal force that changed the coaster world forever. When it debuted on May 13, 2000, Millennium Force became the world's first giga coaster, a term defined as a roller coaster that exceeds 300 feet in height. Standing at 310 feet tall with a 300-foot drop, this steel giant set a new standard for what a thrill ride could be. It was manufactured by the Swiss company Intamin, and it was the first coaster to use their cable lift hill technology instead of the traditional chain lift. This meant the lift hill was fast, smooth, and silent. No clanking or rattling, just an eerie, quick ascent straight into the sky. The coaster hit speeds of up to 93 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest roller coasters in the world at the time of its debut. The ride spans 6,595 feet of track and lasts around 2 minutes and 20 seconds, maintaining a sense of speed throughout its entire layout. While many coasters peak at their first drop and then mellow out, Millennium Force delivers relentless pacing. Its layout features massive overbanked turns, sweeping curves, high-speed straightaways, and airtime hills that keep riders out of their seats. After the 300-foot, 80-degree drop, the train roars over a large airtime hill, dives through a tunnel, flies around a 122-foot-tall overbanked turn, and hugs the shores of Lake Erie as it races toward another series of hills and turns. What really stood out was the ride's fluidity and grace. It wasn't about insane intensity or quick transitions like many coasters today. Millennium Force was about raw, smooth speed on a massive scale. When it opened, it broke 6 world records, including tallest and fastest complete circuit roller coaster, and it was immediately crowned Best Steel Coaster in Amusement Today's Golden Ticket Awards. In fact, Millennium Force dominated the awards for years, winning the title multiple times throughout the 2000s and into the 2010s. Even today, it still ranks among the top steel coasters worldwide. Now let's talk about the ride experience. First, you board one of 3 sleek blue and silver trains. Each train has 9 cars, and each car seats 4 people, 2 rows of 2 across. There are no shoulder restraints, just a seatbelt and a T-bar lap restraint, which adds to the feeling of freedom and airtime. The cable lift pulls you to the top in around 20 seconds, blazingly fast for such a massive climb. From the summit, you get a panoramic view of Lake Erie and the entire park. just before plummeting down that iconic first drop. Despite being over 2 decades old, Millennium Force still draws massive crowds, and for good reason. It's not just about stats, it's about how the ride feels. There's something special about the sustained speed, the massive elements, and the lack of mid-course brakes that makes it feel like a true, uninterrupted flight. Of course, some coaster enthusiasts argue it's been surpassed. Coasters like Steel Vengeance, Fury 325, and Intimidator 305 all came after Millennium Force and pushed the limits of intensity or airtime. But there's a reason Millennium Force is still a bucket list coaster. It was a pioneer. It opened the floodgates for the giga coaster era. Before it, nothing over 300 feet had ever been done. After it, parks around the world started aiming higher. Cedar Point has always had a history of innovation. Rides like Magnum XL 200, Top Thrill Dragster, and Steel Vengeance prove that. But Millennium Force is the one that cemented Cedar Point's legacy as the coaster capital of the world. It brought a sleek, futuristic aesthetic to the park, complete with dramatic lighting at night and a dedicated soundtrack that adds to the epic atmosphere. Fun fact, despite its intensity, Millennium Force is remarkably reliable. The ride's simple design and magnetic braking system help minimize downtime, and the open, fast-moving cable lift system helps maintain a solid capacity of around 1,300 riders per hour. For Cedar Point, that's essential. In 2012, Millennium Force was added to the Roller Coaster Hall of Fame, and it remains one of the most iconic coasters in the world. It may not have inversions, it may not twist you like a pretzel, but it doesn't need to. Millennium Force is about the pure joy of speed, height, and freedom. It's about flying, without wings, without brakes, and without regrets. Whether you're a veteran enthusiast or a first-timer chasing adrenaline, Millennium Force delivers something unforgettable. It's not just a roller coaster, it's a legend. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's the story of Millennium Force. A ride that didn't just break records, it broke expectations. It wasn't about gimmicks or crazy inversions. It was about speed, scale, and rewriting what we thought roller coasters could be. For over 2 decades, this beast has stood tall at Cedar Point, thrilling millions of riders with that iconic 300-foot drop and relentless pacing. And while the industry's evolved with taller, faster, and more intense coasters, Millennium Force still holds its place in coaster royalty. Not just because of what it did, but because of how it made people feel. It's the kind of ride that sticks with you, whether it's your first big coaster or your 500. From the sleek trains to the breathtaking views of Lake Erie, to that final burst into the brake run, it's the full package. And no matter what the coaster world throws at it, Millennium Force continues to deliver. If you've ridden it, you know. And if you haven't, put it at the top of your list. Thanks for joining the Coaster Dive. Now it's back to the studio with Ryan and Ferris.
And that about wraps it up today, guys, here with Millennium Force. Honestly, what a roller coaster. Taller than my credit card debt, but twice as terrifying.
Terrifying? You screamed like it was your first time seeing a real woman naked.
You know, it's legendary, it really is. Unlike my dating history, it actually finishes strong.
Speaking of finishing, when we hit 1,000 subs, I'm dropping Ferris Fox merch so hot, it'll make OnlyFans jealous.
And who knows what's going to happen? Maybe mugs, t-shirts, maybe a plushie that insults you when you squeeze it. The world's your oyster, Ferris.
Be sure to like and subscribe. And may your next park day be sunny, smooth, and full of front row rides.